Okay, gonna be seen at different gods here. As apparently for the second game, Shelty is gonna be taking Poseidon and SunTzu is gonna be switching into Thor. As the second map is Borderlands, and what they were having like the whole set of the maps. There's the tournament, matchups. Shelty, SunTzu, Midgard, Borderlands, Medit as the third one, Marsh, and Frozen Wastes. Kind of fun maps at the end. Oh yes, this is actually Shelty. Goddamn, my maps suck, lol. Yeah, that's kind of his reaction to the maps that he has when he has learned what they are. As they are basically like picked up randomly for the players. I was looking for a different word, just cannot right now remember, but nonetheless, let's start with the game and have some Age of Mythology fun here. So we have had a lot of Borderlands, frankly, in the matches that we have streamed in the past 2 weeks in the tournament. As in the middle, as of course gonna be a huge forest that's basically dividing the players. And I'm looking forward to potentially the Thor using some kind of fun strategy with forest fire going through. I'm not sure it can, because it's quite a thick one. And of course the forest fire, it's not burning like indefinitely. It does have quite a long lasting power. And it does do a lot of damage into the trees. But it does stop. So I'm not entirely certain if it can be actually going all through this kind of thick wood line. Well, who knows? That's gonna be of course lure next to the granary. Yeah, it's kinda nice to see that it's gonna be next to the TC. He wants to be having it a bit closer to the potential start in Hunters. Nonetheless, already looking at pretty reasonable gold mine, but it's gonna be fairly similar for the opponent, as this map does spawn that way. You can see even the first gold there. Second is gonna be obviously SunTzu's free one. He's getting us the god power, but otherwise behind the bases he's gonna be having more, as this map is kinda like that way. There are always gonna be at least like 1 or 2 safer gold mines behind the bases. So there's the TC, the first one for SunTzu that we are right now looking at. That seems to be alright, especially combined with the gold mine, and there is a relic for cheaper myth units. That can be making a bit of a difference. For example, getting 10% cheaper Valkyries is something that could be helpful. That legitimately could. As to the bottom side, we have seen that. You can see even a bit of hunt next to it available for Shelty, as he already does have a very high amount of cows. Like a really high amount of them. But it's usually how it is. You can see right now Shelty not gonna be taking these cows. And he's sending them into the corners so that SunTzu doesn't get his hands on them. And therefore his start is gonna be a bit more challenging and harder. And well, he already does have solid amount himself. But it's definitely not what the opponent is prepared for. Pretty good hunt all the way to the bottom, actually double hunt. It seems to me that one of them is gonna be for Shelty. Probably this one is supposed to be Shelty's and this one SunTzu's. Seems like a plan by the map and how it has spawned. As the back TC here, yet again good protection for this gold for example. And the other one on the other side is quite far away and not really in safe position at all. So I'm just looking forward to when we're gonna be seeing the other TCs all across the map, once the players are gonna be scouting them. But that's one of the back goals finally for SunTzu. And it might be kinda nice if he gets the TC like for example there, even though usually you don't want it right next to the wall of the map. That's usually not making for all that much of a good map control. As you, for example, commenting on a game earlier in the other match that we have streamed today. Alright, so give me the TC. There's gonna be a secondary TC available right now for Shelty. I'm still kinda confused about the map slightly because it's spawning a bit differently. It's not entirely like top south away the wood. It's a bit more like tilted. So it's kinda funny that it can be spawning that way, but it's tilting me as well. Because I'm looking at the map a bit differently and not entirely all that ideally. And he's really dropping temple this close by. That's really dangerous for the forest fire though. Dropping it exactly against the enemy temple. Does he even see that? No, he does not. He doesn't know that the temple is actually here. So that's kind of like a random thing. That they're gonna be having the temple on the same side of the land and everything. Offspringer about the game, I'm gonna be putting it into the chat. I'm thinking between the games, between game 2 and 3. So I'm gonna be finding it. Apparently there is some kind of problem looking it up. So I'm gonna be looking it up myself and putting in the link if you're gonna be interested, as apparently there's gonna be a bit of aggressive attempt by SunTzu. So far he's dropping a house. Maybe he's gonna be dropping a long house right after, as he's right now advancing through Freya. And is he really gonna be going that much hardcore? Now, so far it's gonna be helping him to kind of like see the gold mine, as apparently there's gonna be instant forest fire to the top, and apparently Shelty was taking his sweet time escaping. That's way more damage than usually the villages are gonna be getting, and obviously a bit of a problem with the militias, so thank you for the free units, and it's something you need to be careful about against the Poseidon. Probably do not want to be doing that all that much, but gonna be helpful in the early defenses. Shelty probably shouldn't be looking the gifted horse on the teeth, or at the teeth, and well, to the back. Can see another interesting gold mine here. Really good TC here for SunTzu, with the 2 golds right next to it, and the back TC with the gold as well. Definitely pretty sweet as well. So there's the pestilence. That's gonna be on 1 temple, 2nd temple or longhouse so far not coming up. That's very strange build order so far by SunTzu, having only 1 military building. Not entirely certain what's going to be the plan for him, but he just wanted to be apparently quick. But be some kind of walrus stakes here. Well done. Very well done indeed. But there's gonna be the longhouse. So he really did go aggressively. He really wanted to be putting the longhouse right beyond the enemy. Interesting approach, but he's definitely kind of late at that. A bit strangely so, but nonetheless. Oh, thank you very much, Slate. You apparently found the game. So thank you very much. Everybody can be right now enjoying in the chat that famed, really rare game. Definitely recommend it. Watch if you want to be seen how Age of Mythology can be also played on Oasis, for example. But nonetheless, there we go. This is gonna be right now resulting into a bit of a problem, I'm thinking, for SunTzu because of his lateness, because he allowed Shelty to be really getting comfortable into the next age. Gonna be getting a few stables here. I'm hoping few stables, but so far it seems only 1. Oh yeah, there's the 2nd. Obviously, it should be 2 stable build order. As there's a relic for building hit points. It's actually fairly important for SunTzu. He might be wanting to get that back into his temple. For example, this Wolf Red Admire should be getting it home because 15% more hit points for Norse buildings that are already suffering from lower amounts. That's really nice. Really nice indeed. And otherwise, we are gonna be looking at this. And Shelty, I wanted him... Aha! So this was a plan. Right now, looking at Shelty in the chat. This was actually a plan. He wanted the forest fire on the temple to lure it in. That is actually fairly clever. And he wanted the militias from it. Well, he doesn't need the temple. So that's definitely not a bad idea. So if he's gonna be advancing quickly enough and getting the free unit, then he's gonna be fine. And of course, that kinda did not happen. He did still get the 2 militias from at least the wood line there, so that helped. And right now he's going for a bit of raiding himself. Probably trying to kill the ox cart. Just to make sure that the villages are gonna be even more inconvenienced than they already are. But well, to the backside, there's gonna be right now the important battle going on. Unfortunately, it seems like the Hersers are a bit more interested in fighting, for example, against horses than the mythical unit, like right now the Mr. Cyclops. So unfortunately, the other Ulfsarks, they are right now apparently the next unit coming into the battle. They don't seem to be exactly all that strong yet, but obviously because of their build time and the comparison against the Hippicons, that doesn't have to be such a bad idea. But obviously Hippicons seem to be coming in good numbers, even gonna be complemented by a few Toxotai there. And while Hippicons take 20 seconds in Classical Age and Ulfsarks are made in half in 9 seconds, it seems that the basic lack of military buildings is not entirely all that helpful. Because right now it's 3 military buildings, versus only 1 long house for the opponent. Right now gonna be finally getting a 2nd one. So I'm really kinda still from the very beginning, slightly not sure what was exactly the plan for SunTzu. But it seems to be not working exactly as well as he would have hoped. He probably was always going for this build-up behind like the enemy TC. And just kinda like did not work out as he planned it out. Though he still did advance quicker. The forest fire wasn't too bad. Just kinda like maybe different timing. Maybe he was trying to do something out of the ordinary just on the spur of the moment. But nonetheless, right now of course the Ulfsarks with their damage versus the cavalry and having 10% extra, even the 10% is actually making a difference. Because that's putting 9 into 9.9. So basically almost like 1 extra. And that does count. If you think not, then it really does. It does make a bit of a difference in here. As apparently Hippolyta though is very hard to kill, and it seems to me that, well, the Cyclops is even harder, as he can be of course insta-killing plenty of units on his special attack, and we can be keeping him alive a bit longer right now, Shelty, and that could be going a long way towards making it a bit harder for SunTzu, but SunTzu is right now very good at finding exactly him, whereas Shelty is probably looking somewhere a bit differently. Yeah, there's the Cyclops dead. as the Cyclops right now destroyed and killed, but so is probably gonna be destroyed the Longhouse, and anything that's gonna be coming out of it, that's why nothing is. Nothing also from the temple, a few more military buildings at the back of Shelty's base, and that's kind of like not a bad idea, because it's like one of the small places that he can be still surviving for a bit longer. You can see he doesn't need a house just extremely now, but he's having very good resources, and he's just kind of missing the production capabilities and capacities, and that's exactly what's making for all the problems. Getting the Throwing Axeman, not entirely all that certain it's such a good idea, but he probably just has the resources for that, and so he wants anything up. But obviously they are not entirely all that ideal against the horses, and they are not ideal against the archers at all. So just the combination is a bit tricky and sketchy. But he is a Thor, of course, so he doesn't have any kind of bonus out of the Herseers. So you can at this point try to be combining the units to get anything on the battlefield. And yet again, they don't cost food, so maybe it's gonna be not a bad idea for him all around. Though still 50 wood is something that really costs and could be helping, for example, on different resources if he is going to be saved there. Right now he's unfortunately forced off the gold. Yes, wow, he went from all the way here all the way there. Now that's one hell of an escape from SunTzu. Not exactly working well, as you can see. So really well played by Shelty, as he managed to really disrupt the economy of the red player so much that at this point he's gonna be apparently even able to handle the situation inside his base, even though it definitely wasn't for free and it cost him quite a bit of units. Seems to be controlling the situation right now really well, and the continued trading in the red base is going to be making things harder and harder, as he's trying to go for probably the berries, it seems to me, or maybe even for the piggies in the corner. Probably the piggies. Probably then. So in the way to the middle, this is gonna be right now apparently even the Hippicons overpowering the units that are getting made, but still it shouldn't be all that simple, because there's a pretty good upgrade into medium wolf sacks, and yet again the creation time is just incredibly fast compared to what Shelty is having at this point, and he's getting a few more economical upgrades, so therefore just basically going straight wolf sacks should be working, but I don't think he's having all that much of a great echo for that, especially since he suffered right now trading on the gold. And the archers, they are always going to be a problem. But we were kind of talking about it before in probably the first game today, or one of the first ones, maybe the second, where actually Ulfsaks are not even all that tragic against the Toxotai, because they are really quick. They can be closing on them really quickly with Lone Wanderer, and their rate of attack is also rather helping them in the matchup. So it's not that impossible. Not that impossible to use in them, or rather to use them in that capacity as well. Nonetheless, you can see the villages to the top are gonna be completely slaughtered by the raiding party, led by Hippolyta the Amazon, to the bottom side. This was just not going well either for SunTzu, and therefore since both sides were going really terribly, with even the economy not all that great. Look at all of those cows, they were gonna be having a lot of stakes past the walruses, once that's gonna be finished. And Shelty is gonna be taking a second one, and so far he's actually taking them in quite a commanding fashion. So far it seems to me slightly that SunTzu is slightly intimidated by Shelty, based on how he's playing in the first and second game, because he's a pretty solid player. And would be thinking that he does have a bit more in him if he's gonna be a bit more confident in the execution. So far he's kind of trying to surprise Shelty, which is definitely commendable, because that's also a valid way how to get a win. But so far, it seems like that Shelty is able to recuperate from any kind of setbacks, and so far he is really ready for whatever might come for him. You can see right now the economy difference, not that entirely huge, but still about like 700 resources at this stage. In the early game, that's definitely quite simple to be seen how it's gonna be resolved, but you can see absolutely the same military count, 38, but the units killed completely different. Yet again, different battlefields, different battles, but it's really strange because Shelty's Hippicons yet again taking double the time that the Ulfsaks from SunTzu do, and even just longer than any kind of other unit. So you probably could have expected with this kind of same military count, SunTzu could have been having better fights. Just did not work out for him, and that 343 advance, very quick, as he wanted to jump behind the opponent, but just apparently not a good idea. And that's something I actually did not even completely check out. And that's of course gonna be the reason why it didn't exactly work out for him full 100%. Because he just didn't have the echo going for like proper build order. So Shelty did not advance late, but rather SunTzu advanced incredibly quick. So, well, you can look at that. That was an idea, but it did not seem to be working that extremely well, unfortunately. But maybe it could be a surprise. If actually Shelty, maybe SunTzu actually, this is making a bit better sense right now when I'm thinking about it. Because SunTzu was expecting that Shelty was going to advance about like 440 as is normal for Greeks, or even 5 minutes plus. Then SunTzu with this kind of advance would have been really problematic and really powerful in the early stage. Just did not exactly work out all that well. But interesting idea. Interesting idea, but as you could have seen, he was having the problem with the longhouse out of it. And that really set him back and basically kind of like nullified the advantage he potentially could have been getting from that. He only basically got the first, rather the quick forest fire, and they just didn't do enough, unfortunately. And you can see they were having a bit more similar units there, but then SunTzu was only down. And Shelty, he was able to basically defend him with a few units inside his base, and then the rest was just raiding and killing everything they could be finding. Was in the villages away from their base even. GG.